blessing on it. Too real, this ain't metaphoric. We just put the I in iconic. Buzzing like I'm electronic. Yeah, I put a blessing on it. See me dripping in it 24/7 on it. I'm just being honest. Holy water dripping from my neck to my crep, so I'm two-stepping on it like.
Are you gonna say something? You're just gonna.
Is that it?
Action is what you're supposed to say.
Go.
You're still.
Go.
He's still practicing. Hey everybody, I'm Tiffany Foy. This is the Rambling Gypsy podcast. Welcome to our she shed. We are in our she shed, and once again, I have a set of balls in the shed, the she shed.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So, this is Jungle. Yeah.
That's a nickname.
Yeah.
So thanks for having me.
You want to tell everybody
me.
what your real name is?
George Midla.
George.
Yeah. Family name, never liked it.
I have had an uncle. He's, God rest his soul, named George.
Family name.
Yes.
Been handed down.
Ours was too.
Yeah.
How many are you?
What do you mean?
Georges.
My father spared me the junior, so I got a different middle name than everyone else.
Got you.
So we don't do that.
I didn't,
What?
I didn't honestly realize for it to actually be a real junior, it has to, everything has to be, well.
He was a George Vincent, and I'm a George Stephen.
George Stephen.
Yeah.
Where's Stephen come from?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Really?
Yeah.
Big family?
It was different than Vincent. My family big? Not so much.
No?
No, we're not breeders.
Huh.
How about you? Big family?
Nope.
Okay.
We aren't either.
Yeah.
We don't like people.
Yeah.
No.
Maybe they don't like you either.
No, they don't. I am officially the black sheep of the family.
I don't believe that.
You should.
Okay.
Yeah. I've been a loner for a long time. Been flying solo for a very long time.
Okay.
Yeah. I hit the... no. Did I hit the streets? Nah, kind of. But no. I wasn't on the streets. I actually had a job and worked my ass off since I was very little. But I did move out at a very, very, very young age.
Yeah, myself too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where are you from?
Originally, I'm not supposed to say this. My father told me never tell anyone this.
Really?
Yeah, I was born in Yonkers. And don't ask me where Yonkers is, because there's only one Yonkers.
Why did he not want you to say?
I don't know. I have
Really?
no idea. I mean, it's changed over the years. Back then, it was a blue-collar town. So, but...
where is Yonkers?
So then moved in and... Really? You don't even know where it is.
Look.
Wow, there's only one Yonkers. God almighty.
I just want to say bonkers.
Shame on you.
Yeah.
Junkers.
Okay.
That's in New York.
Junkers.
It's New York.
Yes.
In and around New York City.
Yes.
In and around New York City. So.
Is that why I didn't want you to tell? Is that why?
I grew up. I don't know why. I just remember him saying that. I remember a lot of things my father told me.
Really?
Yeah.
He said, never tell anybody you're from Yonkers.
Junkers.
Stephen, I need you to look at me.
This is bonkers that you're from Yonkers.
I can't believe I said that.
Me neither.
Well, you put me on the spot. So yeah, but I left.
It's only the first one.
I left Nuevo
There's
York.
Gonna be a lot
I left
more
Nuevo
spots.
York when I was about 17. Is when I left. So, and then I've never been back.
Why?
Wow. There's 1,000 reasons.
Start with
everybody there. There's people in the world that are like no maintenance, low maintenance, and it seems like everybody there is high maintenance. If that makes any sense?
It does.
Yeah. So.
No desire to go back.
No, God, I refuse to go back. If I'm flying anywhere, I avoid even going to the airport. To change planes, flying into JFK or LaGuardia.
So where'd your Yonkers accent go?
My Junkers? Years ago when I was a young man, I used to be kind of proud of that accent.
Right.
And then I realized how stupid I sounded.
No.
And then worked to get rid of it.
Did you?
Yes. But when I drink, sometimes it comes out. It's bad if I speak to someone from the area. So, anyway.
And when you chime in, yeah. That kind of happens with us from Texas, too.
Yeah.
We get our twang, we'll start twanging. In more ways than one.
But thanks for telling me that I got rid of that accent.
Yeah, I would have never known.
Thank God.
And there it is. Oh, bubbles. Just a little.
Well, I did that for you.
Just a little snippet.
I did that for you.
It's like a dog ear.
I did that for you.
So, I talk often about me being racist, but it's never about skin color or whatever, like normal people talk about racist.
It's like from where people are from, like New York.
But when that accent will come out, I don't know what it is. I don't know why. I don't know. But I lose my shit.
What accent?
The accent.
What's the
like
accent?
hardcore Yankee accent.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
Is it?
Well, I mean, if that's your kryptonite.
But I don't even know what my problem is. I don't even know why.
I don't know. It sounds stupid. Maybe? No?
Yeah.
Does it sound stupid? It's annoying. So, anyway, I agree with you.
Anyways.
I don't lose my shit, though.
I really don't either. I just walk away and spin and turn or bend and squat. That's a whole inside deal. Anyways, yeah. So you're here now.
Yes.
How did you get to Texas?
How to get to Texas? Wow. In and out of the state a few times, and fell in love with San Antonio,
Really?
the city. Yeah, I mean, that's my heaven on earth.
How long have you been in San Antonio?
Wow. Now, about 20 years.
Really?
Yeah.
So you just up and left New York and came to Texas?
No, I helped start a family business in Maine. My father bought a town.
Oh.
So which was kind of cool.
Most people get shoes.
Yeah. No, he bought a town.
A nice leather,
I wasn't given. I was
leather
not given
jacket
shoes.
or something.
I was not given shoes. We were on. I was on a.
You
My
bought a
parents.
town and you moved to San
My parents.
Yeah.
No.
Peace out.
No, time out. My parents. My parents were divorced, and I was 16, 17, and I was taking a motorcycle trip to Canada to get a Molson, and my father found out about it. So he's like, "Can I come along? Take a ride." So it was father and son, and took the bikes up to Canada for a Molson. And coming back, we were driving through Maine, and we stopped in this little town, and there was a small country store there, and there was just some warm sodas in a cooler. All the ice was melted, and he took a picture of me on the front stoop. So,
Do you still have that picture?
hang on, nah. Months later, he gets a copy. Since you hate Yankees, there's a magazine out called Yankee Magazine.
I'd say I hate them.
There's a magazine that's out called Yankee Magazine. It comes out once a month. And the centerfold is a piece of real estate that's for sale. And it's usually something like an island, something cool.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a town for sale. And he was fed up with his job. And it was the town that he took a picture of me on. Rushed to the closet, flipped through the shoebox, pull out that picture. And within a week, he closed the deal. And hightailed it up there with his girlfriend.
Yeah.
And I went up to him to went up there for about a year to get the family business started. And then
Really?
left, and then went out on my own once it was a year old. So I was in. Yeah.
So you bought the town and
There
the
was a sign going in, welcome, and name of the place is called Cocaggio. And there was a sign we put up, and it said, "Welcome to Cocaggio, population 3," because it was him, his girlfriend, and me. We were the only two registered voters.
Population 3.
Yeah, so.
What
Wasn't
year
a
was
sprawling
that?
Metropolitan. It was, God, had to be early 80s.
Really?
Yeah.
So where is it at now?
He sold it, and him and my stepmother were driving motorcycles all over the country. They retired.
Yeah.
And then they were taking Spanish classes. We're going to talk about my dad instead of my books. We was taking Spanish classes in Fort Lauderdale, and they were going to drive the motorcycles to Belize. And they're in class.
Tiny little road
and
trip.
somebody in the class was selling a sailboat. And my pops was like, wow, he's wanted to sail. So they got rid of the motorcycles, got the sailboat. And then they were living on the sailboat. And I used to take off because I was real close to my pops. And we used to jump on the boat. Me and him, my stepmother was a pain in the butt on the boat because she was always, nervous about things.
Yeah.
But I'd jump on the boat. We'd take off for weeks at a time through the Bahamas, up and down the Florida coastline. And
What size sail was it? Boat?
40 footer.
Oh, just a tiny one.
You call that tiny?
No.
It was good size.
We,
It was,
you need to quit taking me so serious.
And it was
first of all.
it was a Morgan, so it was kind of made for charters. So it was
Well, yeah, it's 40 foot.
but it was
For
so it
fuck's
was
sake,
pretty
if it's
spacious
just you and your
downstairs.
pops on there,
Yeah, it
I
was
mean,
good.
what the hell?
Yeah, and he was a drinker too, Scotch man.
Ah.
Anyway, so
on the
that's my
rocks.
family history there.
No, it isn't. That's a tiny little portion.
Oh, really?
Yeah. you bought a town.
Did your dad influence your writing at all?
Wow, that's an interesting question.
So I guess segue to your writing.
My pops wrote a book when he was at one point in his life. He was an English major and never published. But he told me when I was young, it's amazing how things stick to you when you're young.
Right.
And he said that people will always gauge how smart you are, your intelligence, by how well you write. So that kind of stuck with me. Now, I was a hoodlum in high school, don't get me wrong. but I didn't get into academics till later on in life. But anyway, so it kind of stuck with me. So I knew it was important.
So you obviously ride motorcycles. Your dad and your stepmom rode?
Yeah. My pops got me my first bike when I was 16.
Really?
Yeah.
What was it?
Triumph.
Really?
Yeah.
And then?
Really? And then what?
And then?
What? And then it just blossomed from there. So, and then everybody in the neighborhood rode. There's a bunch of us that rode in the neighborhood, all the kids.
Nice.
So, we were, went through high school together, dated each other's sisters,
Y'all did?
had our first drink together, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So we rode together. So we were really tight.
So your ride or dies?
What's that?
Ride or dies? Those
Ride or
are your
dies.
guys? Ride or your ride or die?
Ride or die.
Ride or die?
I don't know.
Your people?
Well, just there were kids from the neighborhood,
Nice. So, what inspired you to become a writer?
Wow, what inspired me?
So you said that your pop said.
Okay. When I started college, I had to take a English 101 course, and I failed it miserably.
What were you going to college to?
I was going to be a budding biologist.
A who?
Budding biologist, biology, science.
Yeah. But what?
So,
but a buddy? A buddy?
Budding.
Budding?
It's budding. It's a kind of a term.
Like
It's just a joke.
it is?
If somebody's just starting to be a biologist, then they're a budding biologist.
A budding biologist?
I think come on.
Yeah. Like a flower budding.
Well, yeah, I'm thinking budding, but I'm thinking like buds, like weed buds or
Buzz.
tulip buds. Or
Anyway, so I'll stop.
Like a bulb.
So I just I got into school, and failed miserably. My teacher accused me of being dyslexic, and somehow I got credit for that class. And then I knew writing was important, so I took some upper level courses. But the teacher that did that, I really liked a lot. I didn't have a crush on her. I had respect for her, which is different.
Yeah.
Because young men could have respect or crushes. So, and then, I don't know, later on, it's like most of my life I trickled into things. I don't know about you. Maybe when you were younger, you decided this is what I want to do, and you went for it. And me, I've trickled into everything my whole life.
Well, I had big decisions, or I had big plans, and they were not. They didn't happen.
Okay.
They didn't happen.
I never had those.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
But there was, for multiple reasons, but here I am just still.
Cool. But I started writing, and for like magazines, journals, healthcare, leadership, engine development, but everything I wrote would get published. And when I was doing my undergrad, I did an exchange program.
Okay, because I know some things about publishing and what have you. I have several friends that are in.
Yeah.
But so everything that you wrote.
Everything I sent in, it would get published.
Which
would make me feel good.
Why is that? Why do you think that is?
Because I worked hard at it. Because I put something together that someone was willing to read, that thought it had merit. I don't know.
How did that come from you within to make? That's a huge deal.
What?
Do you know how many? I mean, you obviously do. You're a writer. I can't spell.
The first time,
fucking cat.
Well, the first time I got recognized for writing, when I was doing my undergraduate, I was on an exchange program to the U.S. Virgin Islands in St. Thomas, and they had the English department had a competition for short stories, and it was between St. Thomas and there's another campus on St. Croix, so it was both campuses. And I was a biology major, and I took first place.
Nice.
Yeah, it was. So I guess maybe it started there, and then I just, like I said, I've always written over the years, probably published 30 to 40 articles, and then always wanted to do a book, and I would start and stop and start and stop. And then finally last year, I said, I'm going to do this, and it just, I started doing it. So, and it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. So you've been, speaking of somebody buying a town, you were in the Virgin Islands, and a guy that I grew up with here in New Braunfels, there's several tennis ranches, but the one, Nukes, has people that send their kids from all over the world to come and play tennis and to train and what have you. Some of the best of the best come out of this tennis ranch. And this guy and I grew up together. When he was a foreign exchange student, came down here, and his dad pretty much owns the Virgin Islands.
His dad owns the Virgin Islands?
Pretty much, like the airport, he's a very, very big.
Which island?
St. Croix.
St. Croix, okay.
Yeah.
St. Croix is like St. Thomas was decades ago.
Yeah.
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 I like the vibe there a lot
But
more
that was
than
a
St.
long,
Thomas now.
long,
St.
long,
Thomas
long
used to be
time
great,
ago. A long time ago.
Yeah, but it's crazy now. St. Thomas is crazy now.
You spend a lot of time there.
Wow, yeah, I did. I used to go, after my exchange, I used to go down there all the time. I had a girlfriend down there I was sweet on.
Yeah.
And I went down there a lot. I still have a friend down there that was one of the teachers at the university.
Yeah.
And he showed up when I did. And in fact, I saw Steve just about a year or so ago. I was on the island and got to see him. I usually see him pretty regularly and text him. But, and then some of the other professors, there was one of the professors there on the, at the university, and he's got a distillery or beer. I think it's a brewery. He's got a brewery down there now too. So everybody, some people stayed and moved on. Other people are still there. So, but I mean, I like the Caribbean, but I like the Lesser Antilles more. It's more agrarian. The closer you get to the U.S., the more it's like New York.
Really?
I think so. The Virgin Islands, St. Thomas's, Puerto Rico. It's just so.
That's interesting.
To me, it is anyway. The vibe has changed over the years. I don't want to put it down. I mean, some people probably love it, think it's paradise, but I remember it how it was decades ago, like it is, like St. Croix is now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So writing, it obviously has worked for you, and you decided
it's cathartic,
to do your first book.
Yeah.
Which is?
Not White Bread, a memoir. So.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
All right, what do you want to know?
What inspired that?
Wow. My life, since it's a memoir.
Really?
Yeah. So, yeah.
Why not White Bread? Why is that the title?
That's interesting because that's like one of the most common questions I get.
Yeah.
And I was with my bride and another couple, and we were getting liquored up.
Yeah.
And my wife tried to put me on the spot and said, "Is there a story in there about me?" And I said, "No, you're too white bread." And white bread is a slang term for kind of plain, So that's how it got the name.
Which is very much when I talk about things and I talk about being racist, and that is one of how I explain things. I said I'm not talking about white bread versus wheat bread or rye bread or whatever, and I always use a bread analogy on a racist terminology. And because
it had nothing to do with race.
Yeah,
it was just
but mine doesn't either.
White bread
but
is
it's
just
like
plain. It's just plain.
Right.
Just
And that's why I always say that's when people want to. And it started with my younger son when we were having a conversation about something, and it was on a bread factor.
Yeah.
We were probably at a sandwich shop or something ordering, and I wanted wheat bread, and Garrison was ordering, and he was like ordering white bread, and he was like, "Why are you being so racist?" And that's how it all came about. And he was little at the time.
So I can see how that title connects to you.
Yeah. So so there's nothing in there about your bride. But the title is not White Bread because
it's a memoir. So
not about her.
It's both those books really kind of look at the human condition in our relationships with each other and things, experiences, And I don't think the world is rainbows and unicorns. So some of my writing's a bit dark in some of those books, especially the first one. But when you assemble short stories, there's a technique to it. They have to flow even though they stand alone. So that first book, and I've gotten some good feedback. People connect to it. Mm-hmm. Some other people, I was in a good mood before I read it. Now I'm in a horrible mood, and I'm going to cut my wrists right now. No, not that bad, but it's. I try to design it so it kind of starts out and kind of puts you in a hole, and then I bring you out of it at the end. Mm-hmm. If you read the stories in order, certainly if you skip around, that's not going to work. But I think it has a good flow to it.
Skip around in the book.
I love short stories.
Right.
I'm not putting the people who read long novels down at all. It's just being wedded to a book like that.
Yeah.
And I get busy and I don't have time. And
Right.
then you try to pick it back up again and you forget, and especially longer novels spend a lot of time developing characters and multiple characters.
Right.
And it's hard to get back in. So I've always enjoyed short stories because you can pick them up, read something, and there's an art to it too. Because you have to introduce characters, have a problem, and solve it.
Quick and fast.
Yeah. And not everybody can do that. Some people need a lot of time.
How did you find a publisher? Or did they find you?
There are two options. One is get a publisher. And normally you get about 2.5% royalties. And if you sell so many thousands of books, you get like 5% royalties. And it was a dirty word to be an independent author years ago, but it's more common now.
Is it?
Yeah. And so I'm starting out now, and I'm starting to get a readership, and we'll see how the future goes.
Explain readership.
Oh, a following?
A following.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
that's
mean,
what I thought,
when people talk online,
Right.
and you get reviews.
Right.
And reviews are very important to books. And then you go from there. So you have to develop a base. Yeah.
Nice.
And a readership. So that's what I'm doing now.
So you're doing this all. This is party of one,
Yeah.
and you just printed it and published it, and
Well, it's not
I
just
mean,
that. I mean, there's a lot to it.
There's gotta be a lot
yeah,
to
there's
it.
a lot more to it. Yeah.
but you knew,
And you have to learn it. Yeah.
and you knew how to do that. How?
Can I say trial and error? I mean,
Yeah.
information, looked up things online. So, but it's more common now than not for people to be indie authors, independent authors, indie authors. Is very common now, yeah.
So if you have a young listener or anyone out there, for that matter, that is lost, or a freshman in high school,
Yeah.
or going to, what would be a good solid piece of it? You can throw enough gum against the wall to where something is going to fucking stick eventually.
Okay.
But if you've got somebody that just is literally lost and stumbling and could hang onto your shirt tail, and you could give them 5 pieces of advice.
5.
But if you,
Okay. 5 pieces of advice if somebody
they
starts
want
to
to,
write.
and you really, this kid, there's just something about this kid. This kid's been struggling, or whatever the case may be. What could you do to help them skip the 20 years or the 10 years, or what would be that big piece of advice that you could
There's
literally
multiple
help
pieces of
them?
advice. One, I think, and I understand that there are like 16-year-old girls publishing books. I understand that. But I think you can't write unless you've lived.
That you just said 16-year-olds publishing books. What are they talking about?
I have no idea.
Their periods?
I guess it's other thing that 16-year-old
Their
girls want to read.
periods, or like how to insert a tampon? What are we talking
But
about
I
at the
think you
age
have
of
to-
16?
I think you have to live
What the fuck?
before you write. What else?
I see, and I feel that way about these cute little tiny little musicians that are going in, and they're all of age 21, that are singing about the worst breakup song they've ever had in their entire life. Like, bro, you just got your second ball hair.
Yeah.
What are you fucking singing about? Stop. Anyways, go ahead. What would you tell
So
them?
I think you
what would
need
you
to
tell the
live
cute little
before you
tiny?
write. You have to live before you write.
Experience.
Yeah.
Speaks volumes.
I think you should write drunk but edit sober. There's a lot of validity to that.
Let me think about that for a second.
Write drunk, edit sober. I'm in that camp.
Right, drunk addicts ever, because the drunk man's words.
No, I think it's cathartic. I think and not
It's
that I
what?
don't want to sound
Wait,
like
what?
I don't
What?
want to sound like I don't want to sound like an alcoholic.
What
but
does that word mean?
It's a purge.
Okay.
So anyway, so it's just what?
Look, I'm a camel trainer, okay?
It's okay.
Smart, stupid. Big, little.
But what? It's where was I now? Since you lost me at camel
lost me at
jockey.
camel?
Camel jockey.
Damn right, you should see my outfit for that. Anyways, what are you going to tell these kids?
Okay,
Come
like
on.
I said, so you have to live before you write, which is important. Oh, alcohol. I'm in that camp.
Okay.
And the thing is alcohol does open up your mind a little bit. Not that I drink all the time when I write, but I'm gonna. And I don't know. Everybody's different. Some people have to sit You know, I sit from, this time to write, and I'm not that. I'm an emotional writer. When I'm in the mood, I just it just comes out, and then just stay away from me. Get a good chair, comfortable chair. Have a quiet place to write.
So I am an emotional decorator.
Really?
I am.
Great box.
I am.
What emotion were you in when you decorated this place?
Well, so how it starts, how the emotions go are, they start with when I get super pissed, mad, frustrated, anything on the negative side of an emotional roller coaster.
Okay.
I start destroying things.
You get mad? You don't seem like a person that get mad.
You cute and I love you. We'll explain that later. Yeah.
That comment was dripping with sarcasm.
Oh no, it's so cute because I usually say that all the time. And it took Nick a very long time. What, twice? It took
twice.
Because she was like, oh, she loves me, and then I caught her in a deal, and she was like, oh, you've been being a dick this entire time, and I was like, yeah, no.
It's her version of bless your heart.
It kind of, yeah, it is. But no, when I get frustrated or whatever, and if you leave me alone and I need to work something out, I will either start tearing things apart, rebuilding them. But yes, I'm emotional decorator,
Okay, right
emotional
on.
rebuilder.
Right on.
Yeah.
But you recognize it. That's good.
Oh, I recognize a lot.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot comes from emotions,
Yeah.
and you put them into.
Yeah, without a doubt. When you finish writing, and I don't want to compare it to sex, but I mean, you get done and you're like exhausted. I mean, you feel good, once you get it down on paper.
So our
And
mutual
that
friend
starts-
Mags
and that
talked
starts
about
the work, and that
his
starts the work.
his casserole he made the other day as being orgasmic.
What? Why?
His
Cooking it or eating it?
Perhaps both.
Well, I didn't cook it, so that would have been him, Mags.
What
If
do you
you-
think?
I suppose.
Was it?
You
was
got-
it the
What kind of casserole was it?
the prepper?
It's his redneck casserole.
What kind of casserole was it that it was so orgasmic?
It had.
So the bloke.
It had-
You've never had a creamy casserole.
Yeah.
You can't fucking say shit.
You haven't read that book yet.
Yeah,
Good
we're
Lordy.
definitely gonna have to.
With
the,
the casserole.
the orgasmic casserole. If I see it on a menu at a restaurant, I will not order it.
So that's what I'm going at. Next Halloween, that's my costume.
I will not order it. I will not order it. I will
I
not
cannot
order
wait
it.
to decorate you
Oh, look,
with
hon.
noodles.
Oh, look, hon. Orgasmic casserole.
Yeah.
Stay away from that.
Would you like that
Some
double creamy,
superhero.
or would you like the cream on the
Superhero
side?
down in the warehouse district.
Good God.
Oh, this is so good. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So I'm an emotional decorator. You're
That's
an
great.
emotional writer.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So we're both
But it's good
emotional
you
people.
I think everybody's emotional, aren't they?
I hope so. If
think
they're not,
so.
they got a problem.
Problems. I just stay away from people who are stupid and mean. That's like the worst combination in people.
I feel like you're my doppelganger.
Stupid and mean.
I can't stand
stupid,
them.
Mean, stupid people everybody should avoid.
I usually end up well slapping him upside the back of the head. I've grabbed I deal with stupid mean people at my resort all the time, and I have my patience level at my age right now is none. It's in the negative. I have none.
That's because people have changed too, let's face it.
They're
People
so
have changed.
entitled.
Ugh.
It's so fucking stupid. I can't handle it.
I heard a business report today and talked about hiring younger people now.
Yeah.
No offense. And they said they can't stand it because they're all feel like they're entitled.
Of course
it's
they do.
HR stuff.
Yep.
It's this, that, and the other thing. And every time someone walks in that's younger, they roll their eyes.
It's so bad.
It's going to be a pain.
It's bad. I heard, and this is an interesting question for you. Tell me, because you're like ridiculously smart.
You think so?
I mean, yeah.
See, I told you, no one's ever called me stupid.
That's
That's how I know I'm not stupid.
You're
But anyway, that's very flattering. Thank you for saying that. But
yeah, extremely intelligent. Yeah, I am not.
I disagree.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have Nick to make me feel smart. She tells me all the time. Well, actually, she just fills in the blanks that I don't know how to fill in. And
Without calling you stupid.
makes me look smart. Yeah, I don't take that very well. Yeah. I may be just a little redneck from New Braunfels, but what was I going to say? What was I talking about? I just went to,
You don't like stupid people, patience level.
oh, yeah, patience level. I absolutely, I don't have it at all.
You know what I say?
I don't know how to get it back.
Patience is a virtue. I have no virtue.
I have none.
I have no virtues.
Zero.
Yeah.
Zero. We had every weekend is a new weekend at the resort, and people come down here. You want to talk about people driving from all over the place to come. You're very familiar with River Road. You're familiar with places up and down River Road. And it's literally they get off I-10 and they catch fucking stupid. And it's like they plan a year in advance. They show up on the river. They don't know their name. They don't know who they are. It's like nothing I've ever seen before. And I keep thinking that it's going to get better. And it just keeps getting worse. And they fight amongst themselves. They don't necessarily start fighting with other groups that come. Our place is very small. It's very intimate. And I say last summer because we're out of season, but there was a group of about 30, 35 individuals. And I run the bar at my place because I can maintain the riffraff coming in and off of the water. And I'm one of those, I can look this way and know what's going on. I know what's going on behind here. I know what's going on over here, where we're all having a conversation, and I'm filling everybody's drinks and I'm doing all the things. I've got my head spinning and paying attention, and I can hear it, and I turn around, and behind me is a group of literally 30, 35 grown-ass individuals. And I jump out of the bar without thinking a beat. I run through there and get right in the middle of it, and there's a guy literally your size, and he is going at this girl. And I get in, and the next thing I know, Nick saw the whole thing. Everybody saw the whole thing, and my whole team. I had this man by his throat, literally. I punched one of the guys that works for me, and he was like, "I can't believe you hit me." I said, "I can't believe you're that fucking stupid to not to get in my fucking way." And I mean, it was probably 15, 20 minutes. I told that guy, I said, "You take your ass and you go sit down." But I go from 0 to 200 in a matter of freaking minutes.
I'm the same way.
But I mean,
I'm the same way.
It was
Me, it
all
boils
calm.
up like
It was
this.
all done.
To me,
Yep.
it boils up like this. I feel it like this.
And I just freaking, I mean, I'm literally like the Tasmanian devil, where I just,
You have anything
and
in
then
your book?
everybody returns to their assigned seating.
Yeah, there's a few fights in there, I guess.
Is there?
Yeah, of course.
What's the most wild story in your memoir?
Really? Wow. Wow. You know, I think all of them are kind of like, whatever. But there's one when I was on a date in Haiti, and I stopped by they used to dump bodies out along the coast, and people I couldn't afford to pay for a grave. Mm-hmm. And they would basically scrape a little bit of the earth away and then throw the bodies in there and then cover them back up. And we were driving by, and you see this beautiful coastline. There used to be a Club Med out there. And I was heading out there with my girlfriend, and saw it off on the left-hand side, blue water. Everything breaks open. You see this dirt, and there's a bulldozer there. No one's there. And I go, "What's that?" And I was told what it was. So drove down there, and there were bones all over, and the voodoo people went there. There's
Why were
bottles
you in
with
Haiti?
stuff.
You
What?
were just going on a trip?
Oh, I was working there doing
okay,
security
okay.
for the Prime Minister, and the old president.
Just doing security for the Prime. Okay.
And anyway, so
Who are you?
I set up. Thank you so much. Wow, that's a lot. I set up some human skulls, like bowling pins, and
Yeah.
then took another human skull and rolled it at it like I was bowling. I'm not proud of it. I know I'm going to go to hell for it, but that's probably probably about the darkest story in there. Is that I
So
actually
it's like the rest of it.
That
And
I-
which book is that in?
that was my memoir. So yeah, so I was actually I don't think too many people on this earth have bowled with human skulls.
No.
Yeah, so.
And I didn't really
Now you're
realize that
thinking of
that
me-
was.
Now you're thinking
No,
of me differently.
Actually, no, I'm
but
not.
He asked the question.
Because
so
I
it's his
know.
fault.
Obviously, it's not white bread.
No.
You know?
I've actually known this story, but I
Really?
didn't know that. Yeah,
Where did you hear that story?
I'm not saying,
Okay.
but
Anyway,
but
that's probably one of the darkest ones in there, I think.
I didn't know it was actually in the book.
But somebody might think there's other ones that are darker, but anyway, so. But like I said, I kind of bring you out of it at the end. It's not as bad.
It's
So there's a flow to it. Anyway,
I want to know.
so what are we going to talk about now?
Where?
Camels?
No.
What?
No.
What?
I want to know. So you Haiti bulldozer.
Haiti.
Yes, that guy.
Ça passe.
Hey,
La boule.
I know how to spell it. I just don't say it right. So I need to revisit this whole story.
Why?
Why? Because it is. I am so intrigued.
About what? Human bones? A mass graveyard?
Yeah,
Death?
all
You
of
want
it.
to talk about death?
Accurate.
We can talk about death.
You
talk
want
about
to
that.
know what's yeah.
Wanna talk about that?
Actually,
We started this before. How old do you think you should live till?
so your time is up.
No, how old? I want to hear personally. Now my view has changed. Personally, I thought 500 years old would be perfect. 'Cause-
Really?
Yeah, because and like peak physically and mentally at 300, because then you could see what happened, what you did. You know what I mean? And you could get things done. But nowadays, I don't think that's the right age to live to.
So would you? Obviously, the aging process would have to change.
Yeah, like I said, you max out
'Cause
at
if
about
not-
300, physically and mentally about 300, and then die at 5.
So you think that the current human body is maximized from birth?
No, this is just a wish.
Okay.
That's how I used to think. I used to just think.
Yeah.
That was like a wish. I was like, we should live to be 500.
500.
Think about it. George Washington lived 500 years old. He could see what happened to the country. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You could see the fruits of your labor, what happened.
What
if
made
lived
you
to the-
think that?
I think 500 was a good round number, 500, but I don't think that anymore.
Why?
Because I read a piece, and I don't know if I'm not saying this exactly, but this is the way I took it. And young kids, right? And I remember when I was a lad, somebody said, that person's 30 years old. And to me, that seemed like an eternity.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Forget about somebody that lived to be 100. You're like, God,
Yeah.
when you're that old.
Impressive, strong work.
So it's really subjective. So, you're at a certain age, but a child would think you lived in eternity.
Yeah.
So we've both lived in eternity already. Look at that.
Here.
So I'm ready to go now. No?
5. Yeah.
So we've already lived in eternity, so it's okay if we drop dead tonight.
So, why did you write a memoir with so much life ahead of you?
I was told, remember I told you I had a writing professor, a woman that I
Yes, that
respected.
you
I didn't have a
respected.
crush on.
You respected.
And she said, if it's not personal, it's not worth reading. So that's all me. The second book, and I use an alias, Kevin Dugan, in the first book. Second book, there's still some stories about me in the second book, Kevin Dugan.
What made you use an alias?
When I was younger, when I turned 16, where I lived, it was normal that all your friends got you fake ID when you were 16. Your buddies did. So that was my fake ID at 16. That was my
I was
alias.
the mom that bought my children the fake ID.
Yeah, so
Just saying.
anyway, so 16, you got fake ID, and that was my alias, so I stuck with it. And besides, I thought it was really weird writing about myself and using my own name. Although it's funny because people think it's odd that I use an alias, but anyway. Although I saw someone do a review, and they said obviously the stories in this book aren't true. And I'm like,
And
yes, they are.
White bread?
In my memoir, yeah. Obviously they're not true, which they are. Because I guess people couldn't believe that someone was pitching around human skulls. on
Well,
a date.
They need to take a better field trip. They need to live a little.
It must have been like a 16-year-old writing books.
We were out of wine. I was trying to say fucking strike.
Boo! I'm gonna win this bet.
Damn it, 7.
What inspired Love to War?
Wow. Before this went to print, I started writing that book, and it just all came together. I'm really happy with that project too.
Yeah.
So I looked at the first part is just relationships. I mean, and again, life isn't rainbow and unicorns.
Right.
So it's about relationships between men and women, and sons and mothers. You know, a variety of things, and then the second part is more just kind of a bouillabaisse of stories, and then the last part is all war. And I did 6 combat tours, so.
Were you close with your mom?
Wow. My mom is in the grave. Now, my mom was, I was very close to my father. My mom was, I don't want to say this and make it sound negative, but she was kind of simple. And I don't mean like she was...
White bread?
Yeah, I mean, you know, she worked, went home, watched television. She didn't read. She didn't travel. She didn't do anything. Yeah, she was just there. And after my parents split up, she never got remarried. And so it was, she taught me about work ethics. And she was always there as a mother, I guess, you know, so she worked hard.
Did your parents divorce young?
I feel like you're my psychiatrist. Not that I've ever had a psychiatrist.
Well,
No,
I've had a lot of them, and I still have one, and I still got, yeah. Hell yeah.
So you're a nutcracker.
Yeah, I need them.
You're a nutcracker.
I need all the fucking help I can get.
Yeah. You missed your call. What'd you ask me again? You asked about my mom?
How old were you when they divorced?
I was in my early teens. My parents used to fight all the time, you know, and the windows would be open and the whole neighborhood would hear, and it was an embarrassment.
Yeah.
But my father grew out, and I understand it as I got older. My father just outgrew my mother. She just outgrew her son.
Siblings?
Yeah. Really? Really? You're going to really do the family thing?
I mean, you just can say...
You don't write a book and
you
all
can
that.
Vey.
You know, ask these
Oy
questions.
vey.
Come on.
Oy vey. What do you want to know?
Siblings?
Yes.
Older?
We're all...
Younger?
You know, talking about Planned Parenthood.
Boys?
So it was my brother, 2 years later, my sister and I. I'm a twin. And then 2 years...
You're a twin?
Yeah, wow, that's a big deal. And then 2 years after that, my younger sister. So there was a time when all 4 of us were in high school at the same time.
Oh, pickles.
Yeah, so we would date each other's
That's so
boyfriends
many
and
fucking
girlfriends
hormones
and
in
everything
one
else.
house.
Can you imagine?
No.
It's okay, but my mom worked 7 days a week, so she was never around, so...
All those hormones.
You know how you make a hormone? You know how you make a hormone? Don't pay her. Sorry.
No, don't be sorry. That was a good one.
It was a good joke, wasn't
That was a
it?
good one.
Thank you.
That was a good one. I'm going to have to put that one in the book.
But
Yeah.
But seriously,
all in
folks,
high school.
is anybody here from Yonkers? So so that's it. So all at the same time. So what?
So my parents got divorced at a very young age. Or, I mean, I was young when my parents got divorced.
How old?
I was 6. My girl was 2.
Wow, I was real young.
Yes.
My family stayed together for the children.
There's a lot of that going on.
I couldn't stand the fighting. I don't know if you remember it.
It was so bad.
Yeah, I couldn't stand
Remember
it.
when I said I had a lot of therapists? They started at a very young age.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I still got a couple, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, but you're not taking any meds, right?
I take meds.
Really? Oh, I
I
shouldn't
do.
ask that question. You should have denied it. You're that honest?
I put a blessing on it, see me dripping in it 24/7 on it. I'm just being honest, holy water dripping from my neck to my crep, so I'm 2-stepping on it like